What's up everybody? Before we start this episode, bear with me, I've just got a quick, super exciting announcement. So this is real time, and in real time we are about 200 miles off the coast of New Zealand. Sorry to have a spoiler alert. On the 2nd of December, we're going to be having a massive homecoming celebration at Akarana Yacht Club. It's going to be hosted by Oraki Marine and Lagoon catamarans. But before that, as we sail down towards Auckland, we're going to meet up with a flotilla of boats outside Gulf Harbour Marina at around midday. And we're all going to motor or sail down to Akarana Yacht Club together, and that's where the celebration is going to begin around 3 p.m. We only have 300 tickets available, so if you want a ticket, you have to be quick. I'll leave a link in the description below. It's $10 per person, and all of that money goes towards the Akarana Yacht Club charity for the kids. If the tickets are already sold out, you are more than welcome to still join us for the convoy from Gulf Harbour to Akarana Yacht Club. It's going to be an amazing few hours together. We'll put the drones up. It's going to be such an amazing moment for us. It's been 6 years in the making, and we're doing it. New Zealand is right there. We're so close. So come join us on Saturday the 2nd of December. Love you guys. What's happening everybody? Welcome to another episode of Parlay Revival. We have a crazy episode for you today. Katie is going to be spending 48 hours in a life raft.
Just had my first experience skiing.
I just felt something brush against the bottom of my foot.
It was probably the worst night's sleep I've ever had. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to be rescued.
We'll get into why and we'll get into what in a second. But Zoe is going to be joining her for the first 24 hours. So we're trying to make it as real as possible. So as real as possible means putting them in the life raft with exactly what we had in our grab bag when we were crossing the Pacific Ocean. We were also going to give them our gill foul weather gear just to keep warm. They would have the survival water and a medical kit in there with them as well, and the contents of the grab bag, which included things like the satellite phone, hydration packs, granola bars, multi-tools, fishing line. So hopefully they had everything they needed for 48 hours in the life raft. Think about the last time you did anything for 48 hours in a 2-meter circle. I think it's a long time. I think the biggest issue that they may face is boredom.
It'll be some good time to just disconnect.
Let's talk about the life raft. So we have a brand new life raft that we got before crossing the Pacific. It was really well stocked, but we held on to this shitty old life raft specifically to do something like this because A, we actually don't know if it would have inflated, so we weren't going to just trust that on its own, and B, we want to find out what it's like. So I think everyone is going to learn something from this, being in a life raft. I've never done it, you guys have never done it. It's going to be we're going to learn a lot of things, but they're going to be within a safe distance of the boat, but far enough that they can't just talk to us. So the first thing to do was to get all of the loose broken plastic off the old life raft so that it wouldn't end up in the ocean. Wow. We pulled the raft itself completely out of the shell and took it into the shallows to inflate. Get well away from it, Katie.
Yeah.
Let it go like 10 meters away.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, no. It's coming towards us.
Oh. What happened? Broke. This is exactly why we got a new life raft.
What? It's happening. It's really happening now.
What is that doing?
I think that one was to open the shell. That sucks. Well, what an absolute letdown. The life raft didn't inflate at all, so I started to investigate why. Look at that. The hose is corroded.
Oh, it snaps off completely.
So it just let all the air out. It was disappointing that it didn't inflate for the purpose of this video, but very reassuring that I did the right thing and bought a brand new one before crossing the Pacific. There was absolutely no way we were going to inflate it with our lungs, so we towed it back to the boat to pump up by hand. And they go. This is it. If it rains, try and catch that water. You guys ready?
We're ready.
We're gonna let you go and see what happens.
I don't know. From the sounds of it, you might just let us go. All right, we doing this?
Yeah.
So that was it. This was going to be the girls' home for the next couple of days. Well, Zoe said she'd do 24 hours and Katie 48. But to make things as realistic as possible, they were to survive with only the things that they had in the life raft in this moment, nothing else. So they were all tied up to their mooring. It was going to be a very long couple of days, so they got to work setting up their new home.
Mission number 1 is to dry the life raft.
Yeah.
Parlay, parlay, parlay.
This is Katie and Zoe in the life raft. Over. We hear you loud and clear. Over. How's it going over there?
We're still kind of just drying our bed to sleep tonight, but other than that, we're A-okay.
We're gonna go through what came in this old life raft. So here, this has our emergency drinking water. We've got a couple of bailing sponges. We've got our logbook for the life raft. A couple of flashlights, extra batteries, anti-sickness tablets, whistle. There's a pump as well, a foot pump in case we need to reinflate the raft. This is a daylight signal mirror. This is like a little thing for collecting water, something like that, perhaps. Flares. We've got more potable water, and this is a rocket parachute flare. Zip chop plastic bags to keep things safe and dry. And that's it. That's all that came in this one. So there's no food rations or anything, just water.
Getting a little wavy, huh?
Yeah, it's like being on a waterbed in here.
If there was just a list of...
Looking through our instruction manual for the life raft and our survival guide.
Over.
Over. Over.
Copy that. We just got a weather report. There's some big stuff coming in, so we might just bring you out another line for a backup.
Oh, over.
Okay, so Zoe was reading the manual, and it says that the floor should be a bit more sturdy than we feel like it is, because it's very wavy right now. So the sun's going down on night number 1.
If we were in a real emergency situation, we're meant to keep our flares near us just in case we hear something or we see a vessel maybe passing in the distance. But yeah, I guess we're gonna try to
Make our bed
for the night.
Clean up our space in here. Let's get a little view of it all. Well, it's dinner time.
Yeah, so we're at 6 p.m. So it's around the time we normally have dinner. So I'm gonna break into one of my nut bars.
And I am going to fast for this 48 hours. So it's gonna be tough seeing Zoe eat that very chocolatey, nutty granola bar. But no, I have fasted before, and I'll just stay hydrated, drink a lot of water.
Whoa. You can see what we meant about it being
so
rocky. And we're in the middle of this lagoon, and this is how rocky it is.
And it's getting a lot windier just in the past hour since we've been in here. So let's see what it's gonna be like.
We did drive past in the dinghy before, and they said it's really rocky. And we're inside the atoll, and it's actually pretty flat. So yeah, you can see them rolling around. I guess if you were in actual heavy seas, it would be pretty unbearable. We'll see what they have to say.
So trying to find anything in here in such a small space you would think is very easy, but
actually, because the floor is so wobbly, every time you go to do something you just kind of topple over. So you have to just be kind of like anchored down in one spot, looking around for everything. I can only imagine if it was super crowded in here with everybody, like if we had the whole crew, it would be impossible.
so we're gonna use our Iridium Go exec to call my mom, because I just remembered that I told her that I was coming into the life raft and that I would call her once we got into it. So we have the Iridium Go exec, and I downloaded the app on my phone just to make it easier to use. Alright, so it's booted up. We're gonna swipe to unlock it, and then we're gonna connect it to my phone. And then let's scan it.
Have you ever called anyone from a life raft before?
No, I've never been in a life raft before. First time for everything. Hi, Mom. Can you hear me? I'm in the life raft. Yes. I'm calling you from our satellite phone. Zoe and I are in the life raft, so I just wanted to let you know that we're okay. I think I
probably woke her up. Yeah.
Okay, it works.
Yay!
Perfect. The floor seems to be tearing.
It's just tearing apart at the center.
The seam in the middle.
Yeah.
And now it's all the way across.
So hopefully we don't spring a leak.
It's so rocky. This is nuts. Okay.
Alright.
Bathroom break. Alright. So just had my first experience being out of the life raft, which is very difficult because you have to lean as far back as you can while also making sure that I don't fall in. But successful, so all good.
No pee in the raft?
No pee in the raft.
Didn't fall
and
outside.
And no pee on myself.
Yay.
All good, but wow, it's challenging.
It's not so bad since there's just the two of us here, but I could imagine if this was like a full life raft, it would be pretty uncomfortable having to do a wee off the edge in front of, I don't know, 8 other people.
Right.
So, yeah.
And it's getting really rocky now.
It is
and
really,
windy.
Really windy out here. I was just laying here chatting and all of a sudden I just felt something brush against the bottom of my foot through the bottom of our life raft. So I'm not sure what it was. But
do you think you'll
definitely touched along the bottom of my foot. I've been sitting here for hours at this point now and not felt anything like that.
Really?
I don't know if it was a shark fin or what, but I'm not being dramatic. There are so many sharks in the water here. I would not be surprised.
There's this little light at the top and the inside of our life raft, and we can't find a way of turning it off. So it's gonna be pretty annoying to try and sleep with this thing on. But good night.
Good night. First morning in the life raft. Had a pretty shit night's sleep. It was honestly everything was horrible. The whole night was just constantly bouncing around the floor. There's no possible way to get comfortable. Everything is loud. Everything is moving.
It was probably the worst night's sleep I've ever had.
Same.
There was very little sleep happening. Yeah, like you said, it's just extremely hard to get comfortable. Like, look at how much you're moving. And this isn't even as bad as it was.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
It was moving so much on the floor. It just felt like someone was just pushing you.
Yeah.
Oh, also the light situation. We had to come up with a way to cover it up. It was just too bright in here. So the bottom seam of our raft just completely came apart, and you can just see the thin layer between you and the ocean below and all the bubbles. So we're really hoping the rest of it holds up.
So I was really glad that we did have our gill wet weather gear, because although it was dry, it was a bit chilly. So I used the jacket as a blanket and put the pants on. You can see the sun starting to come up.
Katie and Zoe, Katie and Zoe. This is Parlay, do you copy?
Good morning.
We were just wondering how your night was.
It was fucking horrible. It was definitely the worst night's sleep both of us have had. But here we are. We made it. First night down. Zoe's only night down. Over and out.
So this is what we've been doing to fill up our water bottles, just because we didn't want to risk having any spillage over into our dry life raft. It is now almost 7 a.m. and we are gonna go fishing. We're gonna throw out our fishing line and see if we can catch anything.
We're putting it out the back here because the current and the wind direction is this way, and we really don't want to snag our raft here. Water is super clear here, so you can really see far, but I don't see any fish around our boat this morning. So we'll see what happens. Catch anything yet, Katie?
Not just yet, but patience is key, and we have nothing but time. So we found that, you know, obviously now that we're just doing this as sort of like a challenge and it's not really happening, we have been laughing a lot and giggling, and we kind of wanted to just chat a little bit about how serious it would be in a circumstance like this, and needing to abandon ship, which I think is every, you know, sailor's worst nightmare. And you know what I guess would be going through your mind if you were in a need to survive mode on a life raft with 8 other people.
Yeah, and just how you would have to kind of switch your mindset from thinking about what happened and trying to process the fact that your boat just sank, or you had the emergency situation, or maybe you even lost some crew members, or you know, who knows what could happen.
There's going to be so many factors involved. Like, it's extremely difficult just for the 2 of us to sleep in here, with all the rocking and the waves. So, you know, sleep deprivation is going to become a challenge. Just going to the toilet is going to become a challenge. If someone gets seasick, because it is definitely the rolliest I've felt being this close to the water with not much of a firm floor. So that would be, you know, very difficult to manage. But yeah, you know, just having to improvise and get through each day, and like Zoe said, just focusing on the ways to survive. So the one charging device we had in our grab bag is a solar charger. So there you have the little solar panels. And what we've realized is with this life raft is that it has so much cover and not much space to actually open these flaps. So this is zipped as far as it can go, and so it doesn't really let that much sun into the tent, which I think is a great sort of safety device to keep us protected in here. But we'd have to sort of make room to place the solar charger in an area that it would actually be able to get the charge that it needs. Where'd the sun go? We have our little reel attached to our water jug, but we're not getting any luck with catching a fish. Gonna do a little unboxing of our oars.
They were tied to the inside over here, and voila, that's it. So quite short. Just sit inside and paddle.
So it is 9:30 a.m. We have tried to fish. We've tied some bowline knots. We did some stretching.
Set up our solar charger. It's actually kind of hot in the tent, underneath of this tented part. So yeah, now we're just gonna have a little rest.
And the wind is gently ringing, the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn.
So since we're not going to let off the rocket parachute flare, or maybe we will just showcase our rescue ring.
Theoretically, someone would just grab hold and we'd pull them back in.
We would pull them to safety.
I have our daylight rescue mirror. It's a signaling mirror.
Another thing that's included in our life raft is a rainwater collection device. So it has this tube that connects all the way down to this water bladder, where we can then start to fill up these bags with rainwater. And there we have some water. It is 12:10 and we just wanted to give a little update on what we've been up to today, how we've been feeling.
Life in
All of
the
the
raft.
How you feeling, Zoe?
I'm pretty tired, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty ready to be off of the life raft, though I'm kind of sad to leave you alone here by yourself because I think it's going to be pretty hard going to be alone in this space.
I'm glad that we did the first 24 hours together though, so
Yeah.
kind of know what to expect for the next 24.
Yeah.
At least in terms of the lack of sleep and how rocky it is, and hopefully it's a little less windy than it was last night. So the countdown is on for Zoe to head back to Parlay and leave me for my last 24 hours solo. But will they come and get her is the question.
How's it going in your bulkhead?
You want to peek in?
I kind of do.
Ta-da! Slide in, girl.
Oh! Hey girl, hey!
Do you feel how rolly it is?
Yeah.
Do you get seasick in here or what? Bye, Katie!
Bye guys!
We'll see you in 24 hours.
Alright, thanks for the visit. Slowly but surely, my life raft buddy is paddling away. And it's just me! 24 hours solo.
It's so good to be home. It was harder than I thought it would be, actually, because I didn't think I was going to be able to sleep, and I didn't. But it was more annoying than I thought it would be trying to sleep because it was so wavy and so windy and so loud. But yeah, the daytime wasn't so bad. Like, we were able to pass the time, and because there were two of us, it was really helpful. I think we just chatted, and so that part wasn't as bad, but the nighttime was pretty rough. I feel bad leaving her for another 24 hours.
So it's been an hour since Zoe left, and so I'm solo in the life raft for the next 24 hours, and I just wanted to give a little update on my fast and how I've been feeling. I actually haven't really felt super hungry until this afternoon. It's been now 24 hours since I ate. I'll just keep staying hydrated, and it definitely sort of puts things in perspective and just gives you time to, you know, process the fact that in normal everyday life we have everything that we could possibly need typically at our fingertips. There are people out there who don't have everything at their fingertips, and there will be times, or maybe times, that we don't. So we don't need to eat and consume as much as we do on a regular basis. And it's nice to have some time where you just reflect on that. So it's my last night solo in the life raft, and it's raining. I'm just feeling tired, not super hungry at the minute, which is nice, so hopefully I can fall asleep before the hunger kicks in. It's still pretty rolly, and the wind is starting to pick up a lot, it sounds like. It's pouring rain. Definitely very, very tired. So I thought the life raft was staying dry, but because I hadn't really been moving much, because I was trying to sleep, the water that was leaking in was staying just down in the sides. And then now that I've moved, it's everywhere. Oh, Lord. So there doesn't seem to be that much water. So I'm gonna try and use these sponges that were in the grab bag to soak up the rest of the water. So I think where the water has been coming in from is the windy side, or where the wind is coming from. This flap, I'm not able to like secure it, so it just keeps on flapping like that. There's a buckle, but there's only one end of the buckle, so maybe in daylight I'll have to look and see if there's a way to actually secure this. But I did realize that I didn't have the Velcro over the zipper completely shut properly, so that was probably letting in the water. It looks like it's keeping it out a little bit better now, so that's good. I just want to sleep. I'm so tired. Hopefully I can stay dry. Morning. It's 6:30. What a terrible night's sleep. Or just experience in general. When it's raining in the you're in the life raft, wow, it's not easy. And it was so windy, so rough. Like, I just couldn't imagine if you had 8 other people in there and like more of you getting wet and trying to stay dry and trying to use the toilet. Yeah, just would not be a very pleasant experience for sure. But the rain has stopped, hallelujah. And it's my last morning in the life raft. So I'm still trying to soak up this water. It is so windy today. Even through the night, like when it did start raining and I was wet, you know, Parlay is right there. So I kind of knew that if it got to be too much, I could call them and I could radio them to come get me. But it did cross my mind a few times to do that, but I wanted to persevere for the 48 hours that I set out to do. And also keeping in mind if I or someone was ever in a real situation like this in the life raft, they wouldn't just be able to get out. You know, you would have to persevere and get through it, and you know, find ways to stay positive and hopeful, but also, you know, take better steps than I did, like making sure that the roof of the life raft really was strapped down with the clips to the base of the raft. I just checked and that is possible, and I didn't have that done to prevent the rain from coming in. And then also the seal on the zip has Velcro, so I should have also Velcroed that to prevent any water from coming in. So yeah, just little tips that I'm learning, but I'm happy I get out of the life raft today. So the fishing didn't go as planned. We have our little fishing line here that we threw out, but the sinker I think got caught on a reef at the bottom, because when I try to pull it up, it won't move. And here comes the rain again. So at least now I'll make sure that I'm properly zipped into this. The life raft has definitely given me lots of opportunity just to think and sort of reflect on my life and where I'm at now. And a quote that I had read or found a long time ago by F. Scott Fitzgerald. He goes into the fact that, you know, there's no time limit on life, and, you know, it's never too late or too early to live the life that you want to live and to be the person that you want to be. And we should always be sort of pushing ourselves to try new things, to meet new people with different viewpoints. And, you know, if we ever find that we're living a life that we're not proud of, that he says that he hopes that we have the courage to start all over again. And that's kind of where I'm at right now in my life. You know, a year ago almost is when I made the decision to quit my job, and one of the biggest decisions I've ever had to make, but it's one that, you know, led me here to crossing the Pacific Ocean with Parlay, and, well, right now being on a life raft in the Tuamatus. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy how life pans out, and just how important it is to sometimes just take that time to be on your own and reflect and, you know, think about the decisions that you've made and the life that you see for yourself in the future as well. This atoll is so beautiful. So now that the countdown is on until I leave the life raft. Freedom is calling. I'm gonna go over the list of some of the things that I would have added to, or I would add to a grab bag based on my experience and what I would have liked. In the actual life raft, a couple of things that were missing were the med kit, the patch kit, and rations. So just something to keep in mind, because you know, you're inflating the life raft and hoping that it has everything listed in it, but it might not. Zoe and I talked about electrical tape. That would be super useful for just, you know, sticking things up, maybe even like putting the tape over the light that's on the inside of the life raft, because we couldn't figure out how to turn it off or remove it. And that was kind of just hindering us getting some sleep. I would put toilet roll in my grab bag. I would have probably a separate grab bag for some dry clothes, maybe socks, because at night it was really cold, and quick dry towels. So luckily I did have one quick dry towel, and that was super useful when the rain did get in, just to dry out the life raft. I seriously don't know how anyone has ever bought and used a waterbed, because I hate this movement. I really do. My 48 hours is up! Freedom! It's on its way. Oh wow. 48 hours was definitely my max in this life raft, for sure. I was in this thing for 48 hours, and I am so happy that they came to get me, and then I'm almost back to Parlay. So imagine someone who's actually adrift at sea, that moment when they're rescued, it'll just be indescribable. Like I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to be rescued after floating in the middle of the ocean in a life raft. But here's my return. Freedom! We're back! Oh my gosh. Parlay, I missed you. Finally showered, brushed my teeth, and I cannot wait for my first meal in 48 hours.
You hungry?
Starving.
How do you think it would have been in that life raft with the specific crew that we had crossing the Pacific?
It would have been a packed life raft. We would have had the dogs in there as well. True. But yeah, I mean, we were all a great crew. We all got along well, but it would have been unimaginable, actually. I could not, after the past 48 hours, I would not want to envision what it would be like, to be honest.
And how rough you described it, and that was in a lagoon.
Yes.
Imagine being out there.
Oh yeah, people getting seasick, like just all of it. It would have just been torture. It was torture for just me.
Good job.
Thanks.
Well, there you go. Pretty crazy experience for Katie and Zoe. But yeah, Katie, what an incredibly brave and strong person. I think what she's experienced and described to us has been very, very, very eye-opening. There's a lot more things that I want to add to the grab bag now. Even just going to the next atoll now, I'm much more aware of what it would be like to be in there. And I think we need to beef up the old grab bag a little bit. But very eye-opening, and to imagine being in there. If Parlay went down in the middle of the Pacific crossing that we just did, there'd be 8 of us in there, there'd be 2 dogs. We'd have 2 dinghies floating around us, hopefully, but you know, even that, the conditions just may not allow for that. Yeah, eye-opening stuff. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. Hope you enjoyed it regardless. Hit subscribe if you did, and we'll see you next Sunday.